turn.
Good morning. It's my privilege as Chair of Russell County Commission to call this April 13th meeting to order. And we're thankful to have Dr. Robert Dickerson to lead us in our invocation. If you all will rise, remain standing for the pledge to the flag. And Miss Kathy Epps, would you lead pledge to the flag?
Good morning. Let us pray. Indeed, our Father, we are thankful for our life, health, and strength today. We thank you for our awakening this morning. We pray that you would bless us all day long. Give us wisdom, give us knowledge, give us understanding. We thank you for the commissioners who are present today. We pray that you would place your wisdom in their head and your understanding in their hearts. We pray that whatever is done, said, will be pleasing in your sight and for the edification of the citizens of Russell County. We thank you, Lord, for all of the blessings that you will give us. In the name of him who died that we might live, amen.
Amen.
And I misspoke. It should be Commissioner Reed.
All right, stand, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. We do have a citizen to make public comments. Mr. Thomas Latham.
Commissioner, how you doing? Thank you for hearing me. My name is CW4 Thomas Latham. I'm a resident over at Lockhart Lane and Ridge Road. In Lockhart Lane, Ridge Road, it's a highly denselated area. I couldn't understand why the roads are so disrepaired. So as a senior officer, when subordinates come up to you and talk to you about, a problem, you want a solution. I started looking into it. I talked to Mr. Screw several times. I've talked to the engineers. They're telling me the road's not wide enough. So I asked, well, when's the last time they surveyed it? And that was 8 years ago. People move, people, sell their land. I said, well, so I got Mr. Screws to get a new survey out. Then I started looking into possibility the other end of the road. 6 years ago, they paved the same width of the road that they did now. So once again, I couldn't understand why they don't do it. So I figured money. Everyone, the budgets are out there for several years. They plan ahead. I'm not asking to pay for it right now. I'm just asking, can we get it on the list, or can we possibly, look at getting it on the list? And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys have a good day. Thank you.
What road was that?
Man,
Yes.
when I first became a commissioner, When I first became a commissioner, I spoke to Mr. Kike about the road. And what was said was there was some issues that caused us not to pave it. And that was about 7 years ago. So, I guess we're going to work on those issues and see where we are with it. He's gone, isn't he?
He wants to say his do and go,
Well, anyway, it is my plan to pave as many roads as I can within my district, and I'm sure that's all the commissioners' plan. So we'll try to add it to the list and work at it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And we want to thank Cable TV of Phoenix City and the Citizen News. They do a wonderful coverage of our meetings, and we appreciate their community service. And welcome to you all, elected officials, our visitors, their department heads. We're glad that you're with us this morning. And any guests. Do we have any elected officials in the audience? Will you call?
That are not regulars.
District 1 Lee,
Present.
District 2 Pugh,
Present.
District 3 Martin,
Here.
District 4 Reed,
Here.
District 5 Epps,
Here.
District 6 Corbett,
Here.
District 7 Scrooge. We've established a quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
We do have 3 sets of minutes. Y'all want to take these one at a time?
We need to,
Okay,
because there was some commissioners that were
Right.
not present in all 3 meetings.
all righty. First off is March 14th. I hope you've read those and you're ready to make a motion. And a second? Second, all right. We poll the commission.
District 1 Lee.
Yes.
District 2 Pugh.
Yes.
District 3 Martin.
Yes,
District 4 Reed.
Yes.
District 5 Epps.
Yes.
District 6 Corbett.
Yes.
District 7 Scrooge. Yes.
thank you. And the next one is March 23rd.
Motion to approve, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Screws. Here a second?
Second. Over here.
Yeah, Ms. Epps.
Ms. Hibbs, didn't hear you. You poll the commission.
Be glad to. District 1 Lee.
Yes.
District 2 Pugh.
Yes.
District 3 Martin.
Yes,
District 4 Reed.
Yes.
District 5 Epps.
Yes.
District 6 Corbett.
Yes.
District 7 Scrooge.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
and April the 8th.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. We poll the commission.
District 1 Lee.
Yes.
District 2 Pugh.
Abstain.
District 3 Martin.
Yes,
District 4 Reed.
Abstain.
District 5 Epps.
Yes.
District 6 Corbett.
Abstain.
District 7 Scrooge.
Yes.
Motion carries.
thank you. Next, we have proclamations and/or resolutions. First is the County Day of Recognition for National Service. Miss Bridget Woodyard and Lanny Richardson.
Lionel.
Lonnie?
Lionel.
in-service meeting with her volunteers.
Okay,
Would you like for me to?
yeah.
Russell County Commission Proclamation, County Day of Recognition for National Service. Whereas service to others is a hallmark of the national character and central to how we meet our challenges, and the nation's counties are increasingly turning to national service and volunteerism as a cost-effective strategy to meet city and county needs. And whereas national service represents a unique public-private partnership that invests in the community solution and leverages non-federal resources to strengthen community impact and increase the return on taxpayers' dollars. And whereas the Foster Grandparents Program and Retired Senior Volunteer Program of Lee and Russell counties are national service programs for senior corps. Currently, there are a combined total of 76 volunteers under the Foster Grandparents Program and Retired Senior Volunteer Program serving in the Phoenix City and Russell County schools, American Red Cross, nursing homes, and senior centers for the betterment of our community while keeping seniors healthy and active. And therefore be it resolved that the Russell County Commission do hereby proclaim April 11, 2016 as National Service Recognition Day and encourage residents to recognize the positive impact of national service in our counties, to thank those who serve, and to find ways to bring back to their communities.
Thank you all for the service you all do for all the counties. And we appreciate that we can be a part of recognizing senior citizens in particular for national service.
Thank you so much. And I also want to thank the commission for your support throughout. You've always supported both programs, as well as our sponsor agency, East Alabama Services for the Elderly. So we thank you so much.
Thank you. And we have another one, this is National Library Week. We have a representative.
She had to get them signed again.
Russell County Commission Proclamation for National Library Week. Whereas libraries have long served as trusted and treasured institutions, and library workers and librarians fuel efforts to better their communities, campuses, and schools. And whereas libraries are evolving in order to serve their communities and to continue to fulfill their role in leveling the playing field for all who seek information and access to technologies. They open up a world of possibilities through innovative STEM programming, masterpieces, job-seeking resources, and the power of reading. And whereas libraries and librarians are looking beyond their traditional roles and providing more opportunities for community engagement and deliver new services that connect closely with the patron's needs. And whereas libraries support democracy and affect social change through their commitment to provide equitable access to information for all library users, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status. And now therefore be it resolved that the Russell County Commission proclaim National Library Week, April 10th through 16th, 2016. All residents are encouraged to visit the library during this week and explore what's new at the library and exchange with the librarian. Because of you, libraries transform. Signed by the Commission.
Thank you so much. What you all do. And y'all have friends of the library, don't you?
Yes, we support the,
Right.
our part of
We
the
can
Friends of
use
the Library.
more friends.
Yes, we do, yes, we do.
On behalf of the commissioner.
We certainly appreciate all you do for the library, and we hope you'll come this week, but we also hope you'll come every other week of the year too. Thank you.
And we got a token of that, we got a badge on it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I got my own.
Good job. It's always a pleasure to do proclamations, resolutions, and we'll move on to discussion items. Ms. Mayor Melrose, I don't think she came this morning,
Yeah, I did see it.
but she made a splendid presentation Monday. As you note, they're going to revamp the Riverview Apartments, that's phase one, and they'll be coming to us for in-kind service, maybe suggestions on how they can apply for grants. And I did mention to her that the Lee Russell Council of Governments would be possibly one to help on that. Okay, the John Hanson and Associates, and we welcome you and John Rice to our meeting today. And Mr. Reed is going to
Madam Chairman,
introduce.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to get Senator John Rice come on down along with Mr. John. He's a good friend of mine. He's still a senator, he in my book. No. They're gonna talk about how to bring some business and industry to Russell County.
Okay.
And you can come on, you can come into this mic right here,
That's the mic.
right here, this mic right here. Appreciate you coming today now.
Absolutely. Commissioners, Leanne, and of course, County Attorney, I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to you today. I had some preliminary meetings with Commissioner Reed, Ms. Horn, and Commissioner Martin about how we could move Russell County forward, given the fact that there may be some reduction in force at the military installation, and just kind of take a new look at what we've been doing and maybe some things that we could do better. So I'd like to very briefly, I've got, this is kind of what I'll be talking about. I hope I made enough copies for everybody. What we're really talking about is economic development at some point in time, and then we know that economic development or any type of development is a process. It's not an event. The process will lead to prospects. Prospects will lead to projects, and projects will lead to jobs. And that's where we come in. We would like to take a new look through a new set of glasses about what we've been doing and how perhaps we could do it better. I'll leave my resume with you guys. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
With you folks, so you know what I've done in the past. But what we propose to do is look at every aspect of Russell County. The demographics of the county, how they've changed, census to census, the labor pool that we have, the sites that we have that are available for industrial or retail development, our buildings, what financing and incentives we have to induce a company to either expand or locate in Russell County, our educational system, and we're looking at these through the eyes of a prospective employer or a existing employer who may want to expand in this county as opposed to, let's say, go across the river or go to some other county in Alabama. We'll look at government and services, we'll look at the area manufacturers. You see that entire list there that we'll be taking a look at. And we'll also look, you'll see at 11, we've got military impact. We want to see exactly, we'll run some projections as best we can on how reductions in force will impact this county and how we can best supplement or replace those jobs, as well as fill those homes with people who may, the homes that existing military members may leave when there is a reduction in force. Based on the assessment of these 12 items, we'll examine the current assets, positive as well as negative. Commissioner Reed and Commissioner Martin have been very forthright and honest about what they would like us to do. They want to, number one, they want to make sure that if we spend any money, we know where the money's going, and we want a return on our investment. Now, so we'll look at all these, then we'll develop a strategy. And our strategy will pull from our friends in the economic development community, not only here in Alabama, but also in Georgia and nationally. So, but what we want to do, or what we're proposing, we don't want to change for the sake of change. We want to develop a rational approach to help Russell County grow in these uncertain times. And other counties have done this, and it's been successful. But it hasn't always been successful if the county doesn't realize that myself and others will be bringing opportunities for you to consider, but we'll have to be honest when we come to you. We're not going to do any political sugarcoating. We're going to have to actually rationally look at everything that's going on here in our county and make sure that what we're doing is attractive to industry and puts a positive spin on everything that we're doing. Now, in terms of expectations I mentioned the fact that what we're going to do, or what we propose to do, is we'll have a return on investment, and we'll have to measure this, and y'all we'll discuss how we'll measure it. We can measure it by a new number of prospects coming to the county. We can measure it by reduction in unemployment. We can measure it by increase in median household income. Any one of 100 different ways that we can measure success. We'll be trying some new approaches too. For example, we'll bring a mock prospect to the commission. This will be an industry who's thinking about coming to Russell County. Now this will be someone acting, but we'll show you exactly how an industrial prospect visit works and what you should be expected to answer. So we can kind of rehearse, get the kinks out, so when we get a real prospect coming through here, we'll be able to deal with it in a very professional and forthright manner. Madam Chairman, we hope you'll consider this proposal. And before I go, I want to just tell you a little bit about me, and I'll leave my resumes for you guys to look at. For many years, well, I'll have to bring my late mama into this. I'm sorry, Mama. I was working in Washington, and I got a call from my mother. I'm from Mobile. And my mother said, son, you're up there in the federal government, and I don't see where the federal government really is doing too much. What I'd like you to do, I've heard tell there's some folks in Alabama who are trying to recruit a major industrial project to our state. I said, Mama, what do you mean? We haven't really, my mom, living in Mobile, we've seen where court halls, for example, was a major industry down there. And we saw court halls close up and saw their machinery come down the river on boats to go to Venezuela. So we were well aware of how we were in a little bit of a spot. But my mom said, I want you to come back to Alabama. Consider coming back to Alabama. Number one, I want to see you. You're my baby. And number two, I want you to meet with some people. So I did. And the people we met with were the Alabama Development Office at that time. We met with the Economic Development Partnership, and we worked on a plan which eventually led to Mercedes coming to Vance, Alabama. And it was hard. It was really hard. My part of this was to shepherd all the economic developers in Alabama, the Economic Development Association. That was my job, to make sure that they understood how Mercedes could benefit us and what their part in the process was. And remember, at that time, many Alabamians, as well as people outside of Alabama, thought we just had beehive hairdos and lived in trailer parks. They didn't believe that we could actually assemble a European automobile in our state. We didn't believe it ourselves, really, to be frank with you. And so we found, just like we're going to do in Russell County, we went all across the state and found everybody who was building something from Europe and doing a good job at it. Turned out there was a gun manufacturer who was building guns based on European specifications. So we took all of these things and then presented it to our developers, presented it to the state. So as a result of that, we got Mercedes, and the rest is really history. After Mercedes, we got Honda, we got Toyota, we got Hyundai. All of this can be done, and as we discovered, if everybody is singing out of the same hymn book, if we have all our dots over the little I's and all our T's crossed. But it takes everybody committed to the project to get something going, and you'll be surprised, once you get something going, a lot of good things happen. Commissioner, I know my time's limited, so
That's quite all right.
well, so after, let me commit one other thing. After, in order to do Mercedes, we had to go to the legislature and get incentives. That was where our association came in. Every economic developer had to know what these incentives were. And remember, when you're bringing a new industry into town, this is something that we'll discuss if we embark together on this project. There are going to be existing industries who say, wait a minute, I don't want a new industry in this town. It's going to drive my cost of labor. You're going to cherry pick my employees for this bright, new, shining industry. So we'll tell you strategies of how to deal with this. We'll also tell you that how the process works. You know, I remember we located a project in Alabama where we found out that someone was refueling in Alabama on their way to Texas. They wanted to bring their project. They were coming from Georgia. So we had everybody show up at the airport, all the city leaders, almost like a brass band while they were refueling, and said, wait a minute, look at our town. And they did, and we successfully cited the project. So it's those approaches that we hope to bring to you commissioners.
Yes.
Mr. Hanson,
Yes, sir.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
One, for any type of industrial growth of this county, it takes water transportation, rail transportation, and interstate.
Yes, sir.
We've got water, they've derailed our county, and the interstate runs north of us. All we've got are arteries that run to it. How can we lure any type of industry? We don't even have an industrial park. So,
Well, it is, like I told you at the very beginning, it's a process. Obviously, most industrial development, as you're well aware, Commissioner, is somewhere related to an interstate highway. But other communities have done it successfully. Now, with respect to derailing, you know what will really get the railroads to consider running a rail or re-railing is an industrial prospect. A prospect will drive industrial development. So we can get beyond the railroad issue. Now, there are incentives that have just been passed dealing with, you have a port here, dealing with using an Alabama port. So we'll want to market that. But you do have 8 major highways, I think, coming through this county. So you're not geographically isolated. There are ways we can work around that. John Rice will remember when we got the distribution center in Walmart distribution center in Brundage. That wasn't exactly right on the highway. But we did it because as you know, Commissioner, everything we do in life is relationship-based. And we had a good relationship with Walmart, and Walmart said, normally we wouldn't look at this, but you guys have really impressed us. So we can work around these things. Sure, it'd be wonderful if we had 9 interstates running through here. We don't, but we don't want to stop our vision for moving the county forward.
John, my question is basically what you said in your discussion to me just now, or to the audience. You said that we have 8 highways running through. That's the problem. Everything runs through Phoenix City.
Right.
No one comes to Phoenix City, they go through it.
Well, Commissioner,
That's our problem.
I agree with. Let me relate a story that not even in Alabama. I was talking to a commission. Well, actually, it was a city council in Bluntstown, Florida, and one of the councilmen asked me the same question, or made the same statement. We got it. You know, we got a lot of people running through our city to go to the beach. What can we do to stop them? And one of the city councilmen said, "I tell you what we'll do. We'll put up a traffic light." That's not the approach. That's not the approach that we want. We want to give them.
Stop sign would be better.
Well, a stop sign would be cheaper.
Everybody has
But we don't want to take that approach because we want to give people a reason to say. What we're talking about is giving folks a reason to come here, not giving them a reason to deselect. And you know, economic development is such. Number one, I didn't mention this. It's a fast-moving process, and those that are prepared get the projects. And if we're not prepared, we won't have a chance. There are certain things that we will need to take a look at and try to improve, and there are certain things we can improve. But we can polish up whatever we have and make the most persuasive presentation to those prospects who will want to look at us. And it's not all about incentives, but it's a large part about incentives these days. So with respect to people driving through, we'll have to give them a reason to stop. And it doesn't necessarily have to be an industrial project. It may well be a entertainment venue or a park and rec venue. In fact, I saw Bill, who came in with, I guess he's with your parks. It said Bill Director, and I thought it said Bill Collector. So I was a little, Bill, I got a little scared, buddy.
No, he's sitting right there in the middle.
Uh-oh. Anyhow. So, yes, sir, Commissioner.
My question is sort of on the same line of Commissioner Pugh. We're looking at the unincorporated area.
Yes, sir.
And we are lacking a lot of, facilities down there. And I don't know how you would address that and try to make it better.
Well, Commissioner, there are a lot of things that John Rice and I have discussed with some of the folks in the unincorporated areas. There may be ways that we can enhance our agriculture in those unincorporated areas to get some agriculture-based industries. So for instance, we know that if we can get 3 or 4 chicken houses, we can get a processing plant. Now, I realize that there's not a lot of glamour in a processing plant, but there are jobs in a processing plant, and we got to start somewhere. Any other questions?
Madam Chairman, I think I would like to ask Mr. John Rice, come on down. He like to make some comment as well.
You're right.
John has hurt his leg, lifting a sack of money, I think. I don't know.
Oh,
Thank y'all for letting us be here today. I recruited John to help on this project, and he's making y'all a proposal today to do an assessment of your county, of your assets. That's what I asked him to do. John was the executive director of the Economic Development Association of Alabama for many years, and worked very closely with Johnny Crawford, who y'all all know. And when I asked John to get involved over here, and I rode him the county a couple of days, and he said, "Wow, it's pretty rural." I said, "Yeah, but we got a 4-lane highway that goes all the way through the county now." And I don't think we're as bad off as if you look at what it takes in industrial recruitment, big sites, big industry, you're probably not going to get that. But when we located the 2 Walmart distribution centers back in '98, we put one in Opelika and we put one in Brundage. And Brundage is extremely rural. But we've got a 4-lane called 231 that runs through Pike County. So we had access back to the 4 lanes. And for that distribution center, it was kind of an ideal situation because we needed to pinpoint the areas of service for them, which we did. And so, of course, I claimed one for my town, and we claimed one for Brundage. The one in my town needed a lot of electricity. And we're, Opelika's distribution center for Walmart now is the largest user of electricity for the Tallapoosa River Electric Cooperative, which spurred jobs. And we have about 1,000 truck trips a day out of a plant that employs about 1,000 people. So that just spawns new and new and new and new. And what I've asked John to do is to make a proposal for you guys to consider hiring him to do about a 90 to 120-day assessment and update that plan that y'all had that was done by the group out of Montgomery about 4 years ago. And I read through it just because Ronnie asked me to. And when I called Peggy and talked to her about it, I said, Peggy, there's some things here I think that y'all have as positives, not negatives. And you just need to know that you're not getting the Mercedes plant. It's already over in Tuscaloosa County. I mean, there's some things, though, that can be done, but you're going to have first have to assess what your abilities are and what your limitations are. And I think updating that plan, which is what John has agreed to do for y'all, through a new set of glasses is a real good idea. And I'll be glad to sit and talk with y'all individually about the things that I've done. And I served many years as the chairman of the Lee County Industrial Development Authority. And I just think our rural counties, I work very closely with the chairman of the House Rural Caucus in the legislature, David Standridge, who's a great friend of mine. And we've talked about these issues for years. I'm involved in some stuff down in Geneva County on the Florida line. Some of these same ideas. You got 4 towns, basically rural cities, that they've lost their industry. What do? Well, they've spawned up a whole new agricultural interest. The old peanut factories that were there, the peanut collection farms, they're gone. They're different. They're managed by different people. The community wealth that was once in these small towns is disappearing with people that are either leaving town or going to the grave. And I know that's kind of morbid to talk about, but that's kind of the way it is. So if you don't reassess who you are every once in a while, it's really hard to put on that new set of glasses. So I've asked John to do this for y'all, and he's got the resources, the contacts throughout the state that he and I both worked with for decades, and we're just glad to help. So I hope y'all see fit to at least give him the ability to come in and reassess for you and update your plan. If y'all have any questions for me, most of you know how to get in touch with me. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to business items, surplus equipment. Judge Harden?
Madam Chair, Commissioners, you should have in your package, this is a list of surplus items. I need to update one thing about it. It came to our attention that that Jimmy Adams and his group needed some monitors, so we gave them 2 of the monitors on this list. Other than that, it's accurate. I'd like you to, thank you.
Is there a second? Any questions or to ask? Hearing none, will you poll the commission?
District 1 Lee?
Yes.
District 2 Pugh?
Yes.
District 3 Martin?
Yes.
District 4 Reed?
Yes.
District 5 Epps?
Yes.
District 6 Corbett?
Yes.
District 7 Scruggs?
And just for the record, what we normally do, the items that are functioning, we offer them to local schools or entities that might need them. The ones that are not repairable, we just get rid of them.
Thank you, Judge. Next is our sheriff on uniform bids results.
Good morning, Commissioners. Madam Chairman, we have our annual uniform bid that we sent out several weeks ago and received only one bid back, which is the company that we currently use, Maneuver Supply Center in Columbus. So I would ask that we would approve this bid.
Sheriff, I would move to approve it. We need to negotiate. If there's any negotiating room there, then it's only one bid.
Yes.
Okay. My motion is to approve and have the sheriff be able to negotiate the pricing.
Thank you, Commissioners. Do you have any questions? Call the question.
District 1 Lee,
Yes.
District 2 Pugh.
Yes.
District 3 Martin,
Yes.
District 4 Reed.
Yes.
District 5 Epps,
Yes.
District 6 Corbett,
Yes.
District 7 Scrivby. Yes.
Thank you. Next is the National Registration Act Agreement. Jimmy Adams.
This is just an ongoing annual agreement that we have to do with, that we need to do with the Secretary of State's office. It allows them to pay for some direct mailing out of Montgomery. We pay them back, the county pays them back, but then we are reimbursed out of the state election expense account. We get, and we're talking postage here, we spend a lot of money on postage that the county has to directly pay. Most of our little postcards that we mail out, but a considerable amount of it we do get back through the state election expense. But this is an annual agency agreement with the Secretary of State's office, and it just needs to be taken care of.
Okay.
All we need to do is just approve someone to sign this?
Yep, Miss Peggy.
You're talking about someone out of your office, someone in our?
No,
Okay.
Miss
Sure.
Peggy
Okay.
is for the chairperson of the
Okay.
Russell County.
Motion to allow the chairperson to sign the agreement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Please call the Commission.
District 1 Lee,
Yes.
District 2 Pugh.
Yes.
District 3 Martin,
Yes.
District 4 Reed.
Yes.
District 5 Epps,
Yes.
District 6 Corbett.
Yes.
District 7 Scrivby. Yes. Unanimous.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Next is Engineer Larry Kite on the budget amendment.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Come on.
As you know, we've had a lot of unforeseen expenses due to the flooding from December. We're still working on those projects. You added $165,000 to our budget, and we are needing more for contract truck hauling. We need $52,000 to get us through the year. The good news is we have a check that's coming any day from FEMA that's just under $300,000. So what I'm requesting is that we, from the check from FEMA, we return the $165,000 to the general fund, and then $52,000 go to line item 111-304, contract services, and then the remainder go into 111-213, materials and supplies.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Thank you. No discussion on that? Hearing none, Madam Administrator.
District 1 Lee,
Yes.
District 2 Pugh.
Yes.
District 3 Martin.
Yes.
District 4 Reed.
Yes.
District 5 Epps.
Yes.
District 6 Corbett.
Yes.
District 7 Scrivby.
Yes.
And Mr. Kite, you have the federal aid resurfacing project resolution.
Yes, ma'am. This was a budgeted project. It's 80% federal funds, 20% matching county funds. This is a regular federal aid project that we get from our annual allotment each year. It's not an A-trip project. It's resurfacing Hughley Road, which is County Road 33, from County Road 65, which is Haddock Road, to County Road 32, which is Paget's Road. The project's 1.75 miles. What we're requesting is the resolution to initiate the project so that we can proceed with all of the necessary requirements through AlDOT to get the project out to bid.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Chance. Corbett, and do we have a second?
Second.
Second. No discussion? Call the Commission.
District 1 Lee,
Yes.
District 2 Pugh.
Yes.
District 3 Martin.
Yes.
District 4 Reed.
Yes.
District 5 Epps.
Yes.
District 6 Corbett.
Yes.
District 7 Scrivby.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, may I ask a question? I just saw this for verification on the federal aid resurfacing project. You said County Road 39,
It's Hughley Road.
which Hughley Road?
33, I believe.
It should be, it shouldn't be 39, 39 is.
33.
Okay, it's 39 on my sheet of paper.
Oh. Typo. Thank you for pointing that out. The resolution does have 33, so that's the most important.
Okay.
That's right.
I was just reading your notes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, the scrap pile.
Yes, we've had an agreement with ADM in the past, and and this is to get reimbursed for picking up and disposing of scrap tires off the right-of-way. We were afraid that program was going to end, the funding got pulled, but then we got the opportunity now to continue with the same program. It's just with a reduced amount. It will be $125,000. I think it used to be 300. We did not ever get to that amount, so this should allow us to continue the program just like we have been doing. And as you know, the sanitation department also participates in that and gets reimbursed.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second. I have one question. Is that amount reduction, is that per tire, or is that just the general total amount reduction?
It's the amount that we can exceed,
So
$125,000
the
during the
tire
term of the
amount still
agreement.
remains the same, picking up out the ditch?
Right. Well, we get reimbursed for our labor, equipment to pick tires up and for
Yeah,
the
but that amount
disposing.
has not been reduced. That's my question.
The total amount has, but we did not.
Yeah, I understand.
Not per pickup, not per pickup.
Well, there's nothing per pickup.
it's the
There's
amount
not
you
an
can
amount per
No,
pickup.
but I think you answered my question, not knowingly, but all I wanted to know is, you said there was a reduction, but I wanted to make sure that when someone went out and picked a tire up, we was getting paid the same, but we had a cap on what we could use for that.
Correct.
All right,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay.
And to clear it up, we haven't really lost anything according to you Monday night. We've never really met the ceiling anyway.
Yeah,
That's
So
right.
it's probably not gonna change anything.
Right.
All right.
We will hold the commission.
District 1 Lee,
Yes.
District 2 Pugh,
Yes.
District 3 Martin.
Yes.
District 4 Reed.
Yes.
District 5 Epps.
Yes.
District 6 Corbett.
Yes.
District 7 Scrivens.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
Madam Administrator, you have the next two items.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, according to the Code of Alabama, Section 28-3A-4, I'm requesting the commission to please approve the county levies for alcohol licensing. The amounts have not changed or increased.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We poll the commission.
To District 1 Lee.
Yes.
District 2 Pugh.
Yes.
District 3 Martin.
Yes.
District 4 Reed.
Yes.
District 5 Epps.
Yes.
District 6 Corbett.
Yes.
District 7 Scrivens. Unanimous vote. And the next item, Madam, is just an announcement that the courthouse will be closed on April 25th, which is a Monday, a work session for the county commission. And it's been the procedure of the county commission to just follow up with going right into a regular meeting on Wednesday without the work session, if that's the
So we need a
commission's
motion
pleasure.
on that.
Motion to approve dispensing with the work session.
Second.
Thank you. And we have a second.
Second.
Poll the commission.
District 1 Lee.
Yes.
District 2 Pugh.
Yes.
District 3 Martin.
Yes.
District 4 Reed.
Yes.
District 5 Epps.
Yes.
District 6 Corbett.
Yes.
District 7 Scrivens. Motion carried.
Mr. Attorney,
Madam Chair, I have a letter in your file there regarding executive session. So you understand as much as I can tell you here. Part of it involves an audit report, which of course is public record. And the other part of it deals with verbal instructions and information that was provided by the auditor, which I know all of you were not here. So the general problem is, while part of it may be public, part of it is not, and I feel a little, the information could lead to no action, or could theoretically lead to legal action. Therefore, I'm recommending that we go into executive session, since I can't really separate the two.
okay. And so we will need to have a motion second to go into that executive session. But before we go in, I would like to do the announcements. So, motion to approve it.
On the back
Motion.
side. Motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Have a second. We poll the commission.
District 1 Lee.
Yes.
District 2 Pugh.
Yes.
District 3 Martin.
Yes.
District 4 Reed.
Yes.
District 5 Epps.
Yes.
District 6 Corbett.
Yes.
District 7 Scrivens.
Thank you. And Ms. Robinson, we appreciate that you're giving us a personnel review report on hires and availabilities of jobs. Thank you so much. But I have a number of announcements, and I'd like to do those before we adjourn into the
Madam
executive
Chair, when
session.
you finish, I have an announcement also.
Pardon me?
I have an announcement once you finish.
Okay, you go ahead.
Okay, mine's gonna be short. I received a letter from a constituent. It was not signed, but they did say they were a teacher, and the grammar did look correct, so, but they had complained about the road on Pointer. And Pointer is a road that has both annexation and county. So, Mr. Kite, where are you at? Did he leave? I need to know. I need to know if Pointer Drive, whose responsibility is Pointer Drive because of the hodgepodge annexation out there? Who actually has to maintain Pointer Drive?
Most, if not all of it is ours. I'd have to look at a current map to see, because we don't get annexation alerts, but.
There's been a massive amount of cuts in that road out there, and it is bad. I've ridden it. So at this point, I'll just ask that you put a work order in and address it, okay? I was thinking with the annexation, it could be, according to the formula, it could be city road now, not county.
Is it utility cut?
Most of it ours, but
Yes.
we've talked to the city because they are their utility cuts. And it's their responsibility to take care of those cuts. Some of them are older that we've probably.
Let's just say they were improperly repaired.
We've talked to them and they've gone out and worked on some, but we can look and talk again and do what we need to do.
Well, maybe what you need to do is have an agreement that if they'll send you the, money,
We'll
do the
fix it.
repair work at a better standard. Okay. That's it.
Thank you. I have several. I'll be quick with this. The Extension Department, Home Extension, they are having working with the Sanitation Department, Brad Pierce and his people, on April 21st from 5 to 6 p.m. It'll be community litter pickup. So be sure to, in your neighborhood, just make that a day to pick up litter. Then on May 5, we will have a tree walk, they're saying, and a luncheon, and that would be down at Fort Mitchell Museum and Park, 165 Fort Mitchell, and it's $25 for the walk and for the luncheon. Just they coordinate that through their office. May the 11th, a lunch, and it's for athletic fields and public parks turf management workshop. Bill, that might appeal to you. It's
It should
$10
appeal.
registration.
I'd recommend that our complete maintenance department that handles grass and fields attend that meeting.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I have this, is the annual FOP fundraiser. Please, Bill, will y'all be cooking the pancakes? Okay. And it's going to be at the American Legion Hall down on 13th Street. And the date is this Saturday, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. And they're asking for $5, but of course, they could use more money to do more community projects. That's what it's all about, the FOP and other charitable organizations. So keep that in mind, mark your calendar. And now, I'm going to ask that we be adjourned for
Recess. Are we coming back? Are we coming back? Are we
I
coming
don't
back
know.
to make a determination?
I do not, I don't know, to be
So,
honest.
and that, we probably need to recess.
And I'm going
Yeah,
to ask
recesses would be better.
Mr. Clark, would